I'm not saying. Well, I'm gonna tell you this. I'm not saying that I'm not. 5 is my dude. McNabb is my dude. But all things being equal, you look at the numbers. Look what he's done. And if you really want to, get down into it, let's look at team versus team.
His rating is better, Jalen Hurts.
His rating is better.
87.2.
Look how many touchdowns he has.
Show. I just stumbled upon Twitter today. I just opened it up for the first time a few minutes before the show, Barrett. And I find that Twitter is ablaze on your hot take from yesterday's show. I had no idea that it was causing such commotion.
As it should.
But apparently it is. People are very upset, visibly shaken, regarding the graphic that was put up yesterday afternoon after the show, quoting you, saying, "Who's to say where his ceiling is?" You're talking about Hurts. He might be better than 5.
McNabb, that is.
McNabb at this point in his career. I'm thinking Jalen Hurts is better. And people are apoplectic, as right they should be. I'm glad I'm not involved in this mess.
Why not?
Somehow I escaped this any of the damage because I don't want to be associated with that hot take. Because I'm looking here at the stats, okay, the numbers that we can go back and get. And Donovan McNabb, in his second year, first of all, the Eagles won 11 games. They went 11-5 in 2000. And McNabb started all those games. He started 6 games in his rookie year. Remember, he came on after Doug Peterson started the season, and then they worked McNabb in. But his second year, they made the playoffs, and he was a Pro Bowler. Now, I look at the numbers.
Hold on. Let's start with that one first.
All right.
Jalen Hurts will be in the Pro Bowl this year. He's an alternate.
It's an alternate. I'm an alternate in the Pro Bowl this year.
But that doesn't
Did you
matter.
not know that?
In the Pro Bowl.
I'm an alternate punter in the Pro Bowl this year.
Okay.
I mean, this is 20 years ago. The Pro Bowl at one point mattered. It doesn't anymore. Okay. I've stopped paying attention to the Pro Bowl probably back around 2005. So when McNabb was named in his second year, it still mattered somewhat to me. But I look at his numbers. He had 13 interceptions and only 21 touchdowns. Now, I don't know how that's a Pro Bowl year.
Right.
To be honest with you. He threw for 3,365 yards. But nonetheless, I guess he was a Pro Bowler. And I'm going to look at his rushing for that year. Let's see. Rushing and receiving his second year. He ran for 629 yards. So Hurts has run for more yards. I think he's in the 700 to 800 range.
Yes, he's almost 800. And then let's go with touchdowns.
6 touchdowns rushing for McNabb.
Mm-hmm.
I think Hurts definitely has more than that.
He has like 10 or 11. All right.
Yeah.
Let me look at these stats also.
Yeah, just pull them up. It's on ProFootballReference.com. Is a trustworthy site. His rating was 77.8 for what that's worth. I don't know what I got to pull up Hurts's stuff here. People are just I mean they're going crazy. They're saying
go you got to look at the numbers. Look at the numbers.
They're saying that you're totally out of line.
There's nothing wrong.
Disrespecting number 5. You're disrespecting him.
No,
because as we look back in history, we probably should look more fondly on 5 than we do in this town.
I'm not saying. Well, I'm gonna tell you this. I'm not saying that I'm not. 5 is my dude. McNabb is my dude. But all things being equal, you look at the numbers. Look what he's done. And if you really want to, get down into it, let's look at team versus team.
His rating is better, Jalen Hurts.
His rating is better.
87.2.
Look how many touchdowns he has. He has way more touchdowns. Jalen has like 10 or 11 touchdowns.
Well, you're talking rushing now.
Rushing, yes.
Yeah. Well,
and then passing touchdowns, he's right around 20, isn't he?
I thought you pulled it up.
I'm looking at it now.
No, he only has 16 passing touchdowns and 9 interceptions. 5 had 21 passing touchdowns, 13 interceptions. But the rating is 87 points. I kind of look at that because it's it kind of brings everything to a base level with the way they figure that out. It's some mathematical formula that I do not know, but I kind of look at that as a good comparison. 87.2 versus McNabb's, which was 77.8 in his second year. The comparison can be made.
Yes,
I'm just saying people are going crazy.
Jalen Hurts is in the playoffs. 5 was in the playoffs.
Right.
But look at the team. Jalen Hurts has the pull to the playoffs, and with 5 had to pull to the playoffs.
Well, now 5 had a pretty good offensive line.
He had a great offensive line. Yep. 2 bookend tackles. Jalen has 2 bookend tackles.
Right.
Let's go to the defensive side of the ball. Let's look at sacks per se. Corey Simon, 9.5 sacks.
Mm-hmm.
Hugh Douglas, 15 sacks.
Yeah, he was
These guys made it better for 5 to be out there.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's why he won more games than Jalen did. 5 didn't have to carry the team. He was just on along for the ride his rookie year.
What was the rushing game back then for the Eagles? Refresh my memory.
Let me see who were the running backs. Trying to see.
It's a long time ago.
Yeah, well, because they don't have the stats like they used to have them.
No. You got to go, let's see, 2000.
They had Darnell Autry. He was one of the running backs.
Darnell Autry.
Yeah.
That was the guy from Northwestern, the white dude that was an actor.
Yep.
He was an actor. I think he went to Northwestern. They have a good theater program at Northwestern.
Absolutely.
And I think he was involved in that, if I recall.
They had Amp Lee.
Amp Lee from Florida State.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Tight end. They had Chad Lewis.
Yeah, I remember him.
Cecil Martin was their fullback.
Cecil Martin.
They had Brian Mitchell.
B. Mitch.
Yeah, they had B. Mitch.
Well, now he had Charles Johnson and Torrance Small were his big wide receivers. I remember there was a lot of hand-wringing back then in the day that those wide receivers were just not up to par.
Remember Brown?
Nay Brown. Nay Brown from North Carolina. Todd Pinkston. Remember that name?
Pinkston.
Stinkston, they used to call him.
Right.
And, of course, Deuce was on that team.
Yes. They had a squad, man. Al Harris was on the defense. Barry Gardner was on the defense. Carlos Edmonds. B-Dog was out there.
Of course.
Mike Caldwell was a linebacker there. I played with Mike. He's a coach now.
Yeah?
Yep. David Akers
was on that team.
Hollis was on that team. David Akers was their kicker.
Right. It's looking back, it's kind of, I mean, the defense was probably better. There's no doubt about it. But
Sean Landetta was their punter.
Oh, remember
Put that
him?
in perspective.
Wow.
Yes. 2 Pro Bowl kickers. Sean Landetta and David Akers.
Well, I would put our current kicker up against David Akers any day.
And then, just like the stream says, scheme team, Hurts is growing before our eyes. This is basically his first season. Yeah, he had, 6 games. Hurts had 3.5.
And there was expectations with 5. 5 was drafted as the franchise quarterback.
Yes, first round.
So he had a lot of expectations to live up to. Whereas Hurts, I think people, at the beginning of the season and as the season wore on, are more forgiving of him because he was not drafted with that intent. And
which is why I'm staying
in the second round.
Which is why I'm staying on my pillar, saying yes and screaming on my pillar. At this point in 5's career, I think Jalen Hurts is better right now. So you don't know what his ceiling is. Hurts is transformed. Hurts is he's getting better every single day he gets out on that field. And you have to respect that. So, I mean, for people to be mad because I said 5, okay, 5 was a very good quarterback. He's the best quarterback the Eagles have ever had.
Franchise history right now, absolutely. Yes.
You know what I mean? He was the best they ever had. I get that. But I'm talking about right now in their careers. Who had the bigger expectation? Five had it because they virtually gave him the team. Hurts had to go out and earn it. He earned it the hard way. You know what I mean? He earned it. It wasn't just handed to him.
Boy, the completion percentage for McNabb. I know he wasn't the most accurate quarterback, but it was only 58 that year. 58%. Now, the game was officiated differently. You could get away with more back then. You know, in the last, 10 years, they've really catered it to the offense where the defense can hardly do anything anymore. But, 58 is pretty low.
Yeah, scoring puts butts in the seats.
Right.
That's what they want. They want scoring. But at the end of the day, I'll say it again. Hurts, at this point in McNabb's career, he was a better quarterback, period. There's no way people can argue that. He was a better quarterback. Now, he that's a lot of shoes to live up to, especially being here in Philly, because that's the best quarterback that ever played here in Philly. I mean, that's saying something because I played with Randall Cunningham. He was the ultimate weapon.
Right.
He might have been one of the best athletes to play for the Eagles.
Randall, he was. I think
the best athlete, but not the best quarterback.
No, but he never had good coaching.
Right.
You know, Randall could have really, imagine if Randall had, the way they cater to quarterbacks, in the last 2 decades with coaching and really had a good offensive coordinator or a guy that really worked with him, he could have been so good.
He could have been special.
Really good.
But I'm going to tell you the truth. In playing with RC, he never wanted to get that coaching.
Oh, yeah?
No, he never wanted that. He didn't get that until he left.
With Minnesota. Yeah. With Bill.
When he went to Minnesota, he took the coaching in and it made him a much better quarterback. I can remember him and Gruden going at it because, he didn't want to. 12 didn't want to go out there and really look at film. He didn't want to break down what defenses were trying to do to him. He said, "Oh man, I'll be all right. If it's double coverage, I'll run." It wasn't one of those things where he would come in and be dedicated to watching film, breaking down film, seeing where the ball had to go, anticipating what the defense is trying to do to him.
Well, you tell me, was there as much onus on the whole film thing from a quarterback's perspective back then as there is now? Because I think there's just more study involved today than there was back in the 90s.
Well, everything was different. There was guys these days take care of their bodies better.
Right.
They train all year
12 months a year.
Right. Once my first 2 years in the league, once guys were off, they were off. I mean, off.
Right.
Like, they weren't trying. They use training camp to virtually get in shape.
Right.
You can't use training camp to get in shape these days.
No.
You have to come into training camp in shape because you don't do enough to go into camp and get in shape. When you get to camp, you got to be in shape. That way you just get your body used to hitting and you're conditioning your body to take that beating. Back then, guys came in off smoking cigarettes and drinking beer the off season, and it was off then to get in shape for the season. That's why training camp was 6 to 8 weeks. My first training camp, we got there a week before the veterans got there, and we practiced for half that week. We just installed for the first week and the first couple of days, and then we practiced the last couple of days. Then the vets came in. Then we practiced. Then we had 6 weeks of full two-a-days, and it wasn't like it is now. They had one-a-days, and then if they did have a two-a-day, it'd be a full practice, and then the second practice would be a special teams practice. It wasn't like that then. It was full 3 hours in the morning, 2.5 hours in the evening, or 2.5 in the evening, and 3 hours in the 3 hours, 2.5 hours in the morning, and then 3 hours in the evening. Because it was really, really training camp. Hard nose. 9-on-7 was 9-on-7, full pads. We had full pads every single day.
Right.
So it was just a different monster, and we weren't in Lehigh. My first year, we were in Westchester.
Westchester, yeah, right.
Which was it was like in a valley. Where we practiced at was down in like a little valley. So there was no moving air. It was just hot, and it was just the worst conditions you can have, man. So that's why I said what I said.
A lot of swamp ass.
Yeah,
out of Westchester, right? Heavy duty swamp ass.
No question.
Do you remember what Five did in that year in the playoffs, 2000, his second year?
What did he do?
They beat Tampa Bay. I remember this game. This was Dungy's Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And this was back when they'd say that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have never won a game when the temperature was below 42 degrees.
That's right.
That used to be sort of that demarcation line for them.
Yes, yes.
And that, ironically, is my line of demarcation, where I will not play golf if it is below 42 degrees.
That's
42 and up, I'm good. Maybe I got that from there. I don't know. But they beat Tampa Bay at the Vet 21-3. 5 was 24 of 33. Pretty good. But for only 161 yards.
A
lot of dump offs.
Yes,
a lot of short stuff. 2 touchdowns, 1 interception.
Look, Al.
90.
Al. 12 was worried about his Jerry curl. He did have a Jerry curl back in the day.
He did. And then the next game, they lost to the Giants 20-10 at the Meadowlands. 5 was only 20 of 41 pass attempts for 181 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick.
That was Kerry Collins, right?
Yeah. Was that the year that I think that's the year that did the Giants go to the Super Bowl? Was that the year they lost to the Ravens? I think that might have been that year.
Well, that same year I was in Detroit, and we played Washington, and we lost to Washington in the playoffs that year.
Okay. Yeah, I think that was the year that the Giants went to the Super Bowl with Jim Fossil was the head coach.
Fossil, yep.
He put all the chips to the center of the table.
Yep.
Remember that?
Yep. And then Jerry, what's his name? Collins was a quarterback from Penn State.
Jerry Collins. Yeah, he's from Berks County. He's one of my boys. Yeah. He liked his booze.
Yep. Oh,
yeah.
Loved him.
Yeah.
We came out the same year. He came out in 95. I came out in 95.
Uh-huh.
So, I'll say it again. If you look at both quarterbacks, I'm not saying that Hurts is going to be better. And I'm saying this. At this point in their career, I really think that Jalen Hurts is better than them. You know what I'm saying? Both guys got better. He's getting better. And Jalen's getting better as we speak, man. You see it, right? Everybody sees what's going on. This kid's going to be okay. You know what I'm saying? Not saying he's going to be all world, but right now, you can't say that this kid is not going to be a good quarterback in this league. He is going to be a quarterback he's
definitely established himself that he's going to have a career in the NFL as a quarterback.
Absolutely.
At least partial starter. I don't know if he's the franchise guy yet, but he's definitely signed himself up for a good 10-year career.
Oh, after this game
in the NFL.
After this game, he will. What do
you mean?
He's going to be
he's going to be the franchise guy.
If he beats Tom Terrific on Sunday, game starts at 1:00.
Right.
And if he beats Tom Terrific, you have to pencil him in as a franchise quarterback. You have to.
Well, he's definitely the guy for next year.
Yeah, well, he's already established that.
You're talking about signing him to a long-term deal.
Well, not just yet, but you'd have to give him that opportunity at least to fight it. That means that these 3 first-round draft picks are not going towards a quarterback then. If he does this,
so if he beats Tampa, that takes that off the board. It
erases it from a veteran quarterback, or even looking at a draft pick quarterback. It erases it for the first round. That way we can use those draft picks on defense.
Okay, all right.
And I see the mock draft and people. I'm seeing they pick up an offensive lineman, a wide receiver, and a cornerback. I'm like, no.
All right, what happens if this hypothetical happens? Hypothetical. Jalen Hurts beats Tampa. They lose in the next round, but Aaron Rodgers calls up Howie Roseman in February and says, "Hey, I'd like to play in Philadelphia."
That's not fair, man. That's not fair.
I didn't say it was fair.
I said
it was a hypothetical. What about Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson? If any of those guys say they'd like to come to Philly, then what do you do?
I can't see Deshaun coming. But I can see if those 2 quarterbacks called and said they wanted to play in our Eagle Green, this midnight Eagle Green,
right?
They would be the coach. I mean, they would be the player.
All right, I just wanted to see if you were, where you were with that.
I mean, I'm not stupid.
Okay,
we're talking about one of 2 of the best quarterbacks in the league right now.
Right, I'm just trying to clarify things for people.
Right.
Get you on the record.
Right,
before people start going crazy on Twitter.
Well, they can go crazy because what I said, and when you look at the numbers, it's all true. Look at it.
Even Eitan weighed in on this argument.
What did he say?
I saw a tweet in here from him. He quote tweeted the graphic, I believe. Let me find it. I don't want to misquote him. But he did weigh in. Yeah, here we go. 10 hours ago. Actually, let's see what exactly did he quote tweet. Okay. Some guy named Shaq Mitchell said, "Is Brooks on crack?" ? And he quote tweeted that and said, "Left the radio to out radio the radio." I don't know what that means.
Me neither.
I don't know, but he weighed in.
What say it again? Left the radio.
Left the radio to out radio the radio.
Oh, so he's saying this is just a hot take?
I guess.
This is not a hot take. This is my honest assessment on what, Jalen Hurts is right now. That's what I believe. That's me as an analyst. That's what I'm saying. I'm putting my name behind it.
Okay. I know.
You know what I'm saying?
And I'm just verifying everything.
Absolutely.
Now, Angry Al sent in on Twitter a big picture. Did you see this? He copied you in with this gigantic fish. Is that a catfish?
Let me look at it. This will be the first time I logged in.
He's catching something in the Schuylkill River. Now, I do not condone that. I would not touch